I'm Haley, and today I'm going to show you what we transport our dogs in, as well as a little bit of a car tour. So if you're interested in a really convenient and safe way to transport your dogs, if you're looking into crates, then this is the video for you. So for reference, I drive a 2022 4Runner. It has a lot of space for me, my husband, our son, and our two dogs. So if you're in the market for a car that would be a good dog vehicle, as well as a family vehicle, I definitely recommend this one. So we choose to keep our dogs in the trunk, but in case you don't know, car crashes can be detrimental to not only dogs, but they can also become free-flying projectiles in the car. So in order to keep everybody safe, we prefer to use a crash-tested kennel. This one in particular is a Variocage. I know in North America you can get them through 4x4 North America website. In the UK, I believe it's MemSafe website, but this is the one that we use. It is a double medium if you're looking for size reference. Both of our dogs ride in here without a divider. It comes with a divider, but our dogs are just a little too large to use it. We do have these bags on the outside just to keep some of their supplies. And then we also have these MOLLE panels above and on both sides just for extra storage. We put the stroller up here sometimes. We also like to clip things onto the panels in order to just make everything a little bit more organized. There is also 4 tie down points, so the chances of it going anywhere are pretty slim. The Variocages are made specifically to go up against a back seat, so that way they're actually made to crumple. That's why if you look at them from the side, they're kind of shaped like this. They're kind of a trapezoid in a way, because they're made to lay against the back of your seat. You can see Shelby's nose right here. Whenever you have a crash, it actually crumples around the dog, so that way it protects the dog, but it also absorbs some of the shock from the crash. I think it's worth noting, if you think this is a little excessive, there are other crash-tested crates you can get. We used to have a Ruffland for Shelby. We ultimately went with this one for both of the dogs because 2 Rufflands would not fit in the car that we had before. We used to have a 2017 Nissan Rogue. This double medium does fit in the back of a 2017 Nissan Rogue. It was a lot tighter because we had to slide the back seat up, so that was before we had our son. He probably would not fit back there if we had him and the crate at the same time in the Rogue, but in this car we have the full back seat and it's not an issue. It fits really well, and you have all this space on either side. I'd also like to mention that it does take up your entire trunk, but if we ever go out and buy things, we just stick them in the crate. So if we go to Walmart and need to pick up a few things, we'll actually just put whatever we have in the crate and it's fine. I'd also like to add, it actually has a backup way to get your dogs out in the event of a crash. You can actually just twist a couple knobs and the back pops off, so that way if the front is crumpled and you can't get the door open, you can actually open that back hatch through the back seats and you can drag your dogs out that way. Now, the way that the Variocages are made is that on the sides you'll see they are adjustable, so you can adjust their depth, so you can make them a little more shallow or a little deeper. We have ours, I think, almost all the way out, just a little extra room for the dogs, but you can actually compact it a little bit, and that's all part of the mechanism to help it crumple in the event of a crash. So here I'm going to go in through the back door, and you can see these red knobs here. That is the knobs that you would unscrew in the event of a crash if you could not get your dogs out of the front, and then this whole panel just pops off. So it's an extra safety mechanism. That way you have a way to get your dogs out. So now I'm just going to try to give you a bit of a closer look here. I'm actually going to open this a little bit. So for reference, these are our 2 dogs, Gunner and Shelby. Shelby is a lab border collie mix. She weighs about 50 pounds. Gunner is a German Shepherd Rottweiler mix. He weighs about 70 pounds. Whenever we take them on vacation, they don't lay just like this, obviously, because their paws are sticking out. They're usually laid with one further in the back in the corner and then the other one further in the front. But just to get you an idea of how well the medium or the double medium fits 2 large dogs, this kind of gives you a better idea. They fit really nicely in it. However, if your dogs are not 100% solid with getting along, I wouldn't recommend housing them in a crate like this. I would recommend maybe trying to extend it, maybe trying to use the divider or getting single crates, but this works out really good for us. Right. So I'm just going to let them out here so I can kind of show you how we have it set up. Here is our waterproof blanket, and underneath is another waterproof mat. On top of being crash tested and being super safe, it also has kept our car super clean whenever we've took the dogs to the beach and to Florida. When sand and hair and dirt and grime have gotten in the crate, our car has remained relatively clean on the inside. It keeps the dog hair out of the rest of the car because all the mess is contained within the crate, so that's really nice. The doors shut really nicely if you care much about that. Here's how you open them. You just push these down and then they latch. There's also 2 slots right here for a little extra storage. I usually don't put anything hard in there because it can make a little bit of noise on the road. But if you have a leash or something you want to put in there, it'd be nice. Here is Gunner's bag, and we just keep just a few of the essentials in here. We use the retractable leashes a ton. We also use their prong collars quite a bit. We usually have a long line in there too, but that's just kind of the stuff that we usually keep in there. Shelby's bag is set up the same way. It has the retractable and the prong in there, and then I believe hers also has a long line. Poop bags are here on the Molly panels, as well as their leashes. This one is Shelby's because it's on Shelby's side as well as her collar. And then on Gunner's side, we have Gunner's leash and collar clipped right here. On this side, just a little extra storage. We keep their water bottle and their flea and tick spray. For anyone that might want to keep them in the crate for any reason with the trunk door open, there is a lock that comes with keys, and I usually just keep them on our key ring, and you are not getting in there. Then they're really easy to unlock too. So that's a really handy feature, especially for people that do sports and things where you might want to have them in the trunk with the hatch open for the majority of the day. It's a really good way to make sure nobody can get into their crates or mess with them. Now, the only con really is that it does take up a lot of trunk space. But like I said earlier, if there is a time when we go to town and we've bought some things, we usually just stick it in the crate because we still have all that space. As long as the dogs are not with us, we still have it. So it's not like that space can't be used. It just depends on your comfort level of putting your things in a dog crate. I will say one of the things that we decided to do to help with the space, especially since welcoming our son, since that leads to more packing, is of course the Molly panels that are on both sides and above the crate. That's helped a ton with storage. And then also on top of the car, we have a roof rack, and then we have some boxes from Roll, and that is what we packed a whole lot of stuff in on our last vacation, and it worked out really nicely. So if you're on the fence because of the trunk space, you can always get a roof rack or do something similar. Now, in my opinion, this is one of my favorite dog purchases that we've ever made. For us, we take our dogs a lot of places. We take them on hikes. We take them to the beach with us on vacations. And this is really convenient to just have in your trunk. And anytime you want to take your dogs somewhere, you can just load them up. You don't have to worry about lugging a heavy crate into the trunk every time you want to take them somewhere. If you only take your dogs somewhere a couple times a year, then that may be different. Shelby, climb. But for people like us who like to take our dogs lots of places, it's just really nice. And I will say, as far as our dog's comfort level in them, it was a lot easier to get them used to a crate like this that's got open bars than it ever was with Shelby's Ruffland, because it's more closed. And it's definitely made a huge impact with Shelby's car sickness. If you have a dog that's car sick, I highly recommend getting them super comfortable with some kind of car crate, because that can really help them with the feeling of the motion sickness. They can lay down, they can sit if that feels better. But also, if she was to get sick, it's in the crate and it's not in the car, which is really nice. And like I said, this is a Variocage. This is the size double medium. It fits both of our large size dogs, 70 pounds and 50 pounds. So to me, that's awesome. It is a little more on the expensive side because it is made of steel and it is very well crash tested. So keep that in mind. There are more affordable options. There are other options that you can do to keep your dog safe in the car. Just make sure whatever crate you get is crash tested. And I'll also, just for the sake of helping you guys out, I'll show you Shelby's Ruffland in comparison to her size. Now this is the Ruffland that we used to use for Shelby. She was never super confident in it, not like she is in the Variocage, even though we did a ton of conditioning. So this one is a lot easier to move. You'll have a harder time moving the Variocage. This is the intermediate size, and just for reference, Shelby is a 50-pound Lab Border Collie mix. Shelby, come. Great. And she sort of fits in there. She's gotten a little bit bigger, so it is a little bit tight for her. I don't know that I would really recommend using it for a dog that's quite as big as she is. But this is how the door opens. You can just press it and close it like that. You can also install a lock on it if you wanted to lock this crate too. It does have vent holes on the side to keep it from getting too hot, and then it has 4 screw holes, so that way you have an ability to tie it down. You can add tie downs to it. Now this is the single door one. They do make some that are double door, and some of them have a door on the side also. They also make them with vent holes along the bottom and the top. This is just one of the options. These are also crash tested. The door is easily removable. If you was to need to remove it, it unclips on both sides, so you can open it this way or open it this way. You can also just take it off if you need to take it off to clean it. Like I said, for reference, this is the intermediate sized Ruffland in gray. So this is a bit of a more affordable option if you would be interested in something like that for your dogs too. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. See you next time.